than all the wars in history. What are you going to win with that? Tell me. And they got a place built for senators, I don't know about Germany, where they can go under a mountain in case of nuclear war. There's enough food there for 6 months. What do you come out to? A radioactive world after 6 months? I'm trying to think how stupid government is. They don't know how to solve problems. What you must do is bridge the difference between nations, help other nations, share the Earth's resources. That's the end of the problem. Now I'll open the section for questions if you have it. Don't be polite. There's something I said you don't understand, I don't get it. Let's try it. What would you like to know about the future?
How far?
Yes.
Oh, go for it.
How far are we away from the vision you have put in this? Your vision about new world, your technical world, how...
I can't hear
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
She's going to tell me.
Okay.
How far away are we from this vision?
It depends on how much work you do. We're traveling all over the world. A lot of people love the Venus Project. If you do nothing when you leave here, it's that much further away. The more you talk to people about it, there is no social stratification. Everybody lives very well. I want to tell you how well. In the future that I have in mind, the richest person today will be considered a poverty-stricken person to what the world can do if we unify. It's the end of killing machines, the end of prisons, the end of police. So it's as far away as the work you do when you leave here. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. I'm sorry, but that's the answer. Because I have no power. You understand that, Roxanne has no power. We can't change the world, but you can.
But there is something established already, connections worldwide.
Right now, the world's falling apart, and people are looking for answers. That's why we're on tour now, to try to tell people there are other ways of living than how we live today. And if you don't understand when I say people will be better off than the wealthiest people, the middle-class American today has, in his car, he has guidance, certain commercial guidance. He can tell where he's at. He's got radio in his car, cell phone. No king ever had that. So the middle-class person today lives better than kings. He's got all that technical. Think what would happen if we never went to war, shared ideas with other people, and shared production methods. How high our standard of living would be. You know how many people we've killed in the last 300 years? Millions. And what does it do? Nothing. Waste resources. Poisons the atmosphere. And that's what man is doing.
You asked if there's anything established. Have you seen Zeitgeist's Addendum? There was a film. Okay.
Yes.
Well, the Zeitgeist movement is the activist arm of the Venus Project, and we have chapters all over the world of the Zeitgeist movement. If you're interested in this direction, join your local movement and help spread the word.
And it's growing very fast. According to Peter
That
Joseph,
sounds good.
he said there's about 50 million people that don't know about the Venus Project. And it's growing.
How many? 15 million.
50.
50.
15 million.
John.
It's growing every
You have a
week.
question?
Yeah.
Yeah, over here.
The biggest obstacle I see is our legal system, with its property laws in particular. When we want the resources of the world be owned by all people altogether, those who own the property now will not give it. And that is the biggest obstacle. It must be kind of a revolution, or do you have another idea?
How are you going to get the wealthy and powerful to give up their property? Is that really the question?
Well, that's...
Here's the answer. I don't know if you know that Chevrolet failed. They couldn't compete with Toyota automobiles in America. The plant closed down, and the president bailed them out.
Good try.
If the president saw blueprints from Chevy about a new car better than the Japanese car, it could survive. But they never submitted anything. And it's not going to bail them out. It's not going to work unless you have a better product. So during the last depression, there were many factories that closed. And the government agents came in and said, we're taking over your factory. The guy said, why? because you haven't paid taxes for 3 years on any of your equipment. You don't have no orders for automobiles forever. Take them on their factory. The wealthy people do not have to give up anything. They're falling. The banks are failing. But if you bail them out, you only delay the process. The world, the wealthy people don't give up anything. If you got a factory and you have no orders for anything, and he works for the government and says, I'm taking over your factory, good, because you can't even sell your factory. Do you understand? If you're in the middle of a recession. So it isn't the wealthy people having to give up their factories, they automatically lose them. Like a lot of people lost their homes.
Would you like to sit down?
Yeah. Okay.
I want to mention something with that too. The industries, many of the industries in the United States fell, but, I don't know if you mentioned this, but Obama bailed them out. They gave all the money, all the taxpayers' money to the banks and the industries that fell. You did go over that because I was going over checks. Okay, so you heard that.
So I think how everything's going to come through will fall into place once people start believing this idea. And my problem is when, and I have enormous respect for your movement, is when I try to talk to people about this, is they are already happy like this. So they are already happy taking from the other. And they don't really want to have more because what actually drives their happiness is this idea. And since most people in the world are, I don't want to say stupid like you because that is counterproductive, but they're just simply wired this way, it's just difficult to, for example, I was thinking, you know, now that you're talking about all of this and it's fascinating, I'm thinking of all the people that I could have brought here today to listen to you. But most of them think the idea that you present, that to me is fascinating, to them is not. And changing this hardwired nature of the people, in my opinion, is the most difficult thing. In fact, you know, what you say, I completely agree.
You're trying to ask a question. How do you turn people around?
Yes.
Here's the answer. When I was younger, designing this system, I said to myself, the idea sounds good, how do you know it'll work? I said, I don't know.
Right.
So I joined the Ku Klux Klan. You know who they are? And I turned them around, dissolved it in a month and a half. Now, I'll tell you now, if you want to know. Then I joined the White Citizen Council. They hate foreigners, all foreigners. I dissolved that in 1 month. And I asked another question in New York City. I said, who are the most backward people in New York? And the consensus was the Arabs. I said, what makes you think they're backward? A certain group of Arabs, not all, believed the earth was flat. So I said, John, see if you can join that group and turn them around. I said, how are you going to do that? I said, well, I'll try to do it. I didn't know that I could do it. So I called the head guy. Always deal with the head guy, never the group. And I said to him, can I come and see you and talk with you? He said, you are an Arab? That's the way he spoke. Same facial movements I made. You are an Arab? I said, yeah. It means yes, an Arab. I'm not Arab. He said, come and saw me. He's come and see me. I came to see him, and he said to me, you believe the world he round? That's his words. I said, yes. He went. That means where he comes from, that's not possible. So he held his hands up like this. He says, you believe the world he's round like this? I said, yeah. He said, if he's round, man fall down here on the side. All the water he fall off the world cannot be round, has to be flat. So knowing that, I put a balloon in his hand and I rubbed it with fur. And I put cornflakes in his hand and told him to hold his hand away from the balloon. Do you know what happens if you rub a balloon with fur? The cornflakes jump up to the balloon. And his jaw hit the pavement. He said, world he magnet? I said, ah. And he explained that to the other Arabs. Took an hour and a half to turn it around. So you have to figure out how to get the hard heads hardwired. For example, I used to buy lenses in different parts of the war surplus store. the guy that